What can I tell you?
Welcome to the Nugget Life. That's my intro for everything.
I love it.
So as I've been telling you guys, I'm so excited. I met Gina Kirby finally.
I finally met her.
Yay! So welcome to my little YouTube channel.
Hi, little YouTube channel.
The Nugget Life. And we've been talking about because the masses out there have been watching.
Thousands of people. Thousands and
There's
thousands of
thousands
people.
of subscribers on here.
That's right.
It's
Manifesting.
literally just me and my husband right now.
I'll be here number 2.
Number 3.
Okay, number 3.
Okay.
Okay.
We've been talking about parenting and the different types of parenting, gentle parenting. I guess we can say aggressive parenting because
I know progressive parenting. Aggressive
spanked. Well, spanking. I mean, it worked for my mom.
Well, and it depends on what we mean by it work too, because I have people say, "Well, I was spanked and I'm okay," and I'm like, "Yeah, well, because people will tell me that, like, I was spanked and I'm okay," and I'm like, "Okay, I get that," but I would like to raise the bar
Right.
from okay to something else.
Yeah,
That's all. And there's nothing wrong. I get that. Like, there's something to be said, or just be honest, about the shift change for me, because I was spanked when I grew up. I don't feel like I'm okay, but I just decided, well, let's try something different.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, if I decide that I don't want to spank, it doesn't mean that I'm going, you're wrong. I'm just saying, I want something different for my kids.
Yeah.
Maybe there's another way.
Yeah.
And the worst thing that can happen is we find out what happened. But
Right.
but if we just keep perpetuating the same thing, we'll never know.
Exactly. And I'm with you on that. My husband just said, I was letting him know that I'm a part of this Facebook group that's totally against Cried Out, totally against all of these other methods that may work for somebody, but he's like, well, why don't we see it as do what works for you as long as it's not hurting your child and you. And I
Right.
mean, it makes sense.
That makes sense.
Spanking did at one point left a huge bruise on my butt, and I threatened my mom to call the cops, but
Oh my God,
you
no
know,
way.
she gave me the phone and said, here, let me dial it for you. I never threatened her again, so I guess in that sense it worked, but the open communication was never really there. And that's what I'm seeking for my child, for my children. I want them not to be afraid to say,
Well, there's a
"Mom."
difference between respect and fear.
Yeah,
Do you want them to be afraid of you, or do you want them to respect you?
I want them to respect me.
So then we have to approach it differently. But I think that the way a lot of us are brought up, it can be difficult to understand that. I mean, for years and years, we didn't understand that when the baby was born, they thought the baby couldn't feel.
Mm-hmm.
They thought the baby didn't have like emotions, or that you could do things to it because it couldn't feel.
Yeah,
That's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
we know better now.
right.
But the parenting went in that kind of direction
Yeah.
because we had this idea that they weren't having a real experience.
Yeah, and I think that ties in with not giving children enough credit for what they understand and what they can reciprocate back to their parents.
They're really bright and they have a lot of potential when they're born, and that idea that they're just like some blob has been perpetuated for so long
Yeah.
that we don't have the respect
Mm-hmm.
for the baby, that he's an individual, or she's just a human being with real human emotions and can feel and is just starting to learn things. And the first thing that they learn from the very beginning is trust.
Yeah.
And if the person that they trust, who they're dependent on 100%, I mean, when baby calves and foals are born, like, they can move and run like right away, and they don't really kind of need their mom as much as our little blobs with the big old heads, and they can't move.
Little
Like,
aliens.
I can't even get to where I need to go. So, like, they really, really, really need us, and they need us to trust that we're going to be there.
Yeah.
And when people are yelling at like a 6-year-old to stop, or a 6-month-old to stop crying, like, where's the disconnect where you don't understand that maybe this baby doesn't understand what stop crying means,
Yeah.
and maybe they have needs that need to be met, and so it's just we have to start going back to the very beginning. Is just respect. This is a brand new human being on the planet right now, and how we treat them, like, garbage in, garbage out,
Yes.
good stuff in, good stuff out.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad, to his credit, my dad has changed his mind on so many things, that Chicana Mexican descent, and my dad, we were spanked as kids, and God bless him, you know, it took him a long time to come around to say, like, you know what, maybe I was wrong.
Mhm.
That was huge.
Yeah.
And that just happened like a year ago.
Yeah.
I'm 43, okay? But he was like, oh, you're gonna mess up your kids, you just wait and see.
Yeah.
And we did wait and see, you know, so
Yeah.
I have a 13-year-old who is awesome and really bright, and she's never been hit. And she talks to me, she tells me everything, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
She's not afraid of me. And she said, and she has friends who get hit, her age,
Yeah.
backhanded and
Oh my
and
gosh.
all kinds of stuff, or punched in the face by his stepdad.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And she's like, can you believe that? Like, should I call the police? Like, she understands that that's like assault. She's like, what could anybody do to ever deserve to be punched in the face by their parent?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, babe, you know, before you go judging, you have to understand that, like, maybe that was their background.
Right.
And they're just, parenting can be very knee-jerk, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you can only become your parents, supposedly,
Yeah.
unless you make a conscious decision to maybe try something new.
Right.
So it's hard. I would like to think that if we're talking about parenting, that we're doing it in a way that isn't saying, like, the way I'm doing it is right. I know that the way that I'm doing it is different.
Yes.
And it's an experiment. We'll see. I
Yeah.
guess we'll wait and see till my kids are 50, and then we'll know, like, if it worked.
They're
or
making
not.
these videos
And then
like,
you're
well,
like,
what?
it totally worked. Or
Mom?
not. Or not. Thanks, Mom. I don't know. For all I know, she's gonna write a book about me, and it'll all be terrible. But for now, I'm choosing a more gentle way, and it seems to be working.
Great.
We'll see.
Yeah.
She hasn't robbed a bank yet. I don't know. I think a lot of people who choose gentle parenting get put in a box where, like, they're self-righteous, or it's sanctimommy.
I haven't heard that
Oh
term
my
yet.
gosh. Or they're like, well, my children only eat organic chicken.
Oh, gosh.
And only drink blah, blah, blah. Oh, you know, and you know, they feel very sanctimonious about their mother.
Yes.
That's not me. I'm just saying, dude, you know what? I was brought up one way, and I'm gonna go this direction.
Yes.
Because the memories I have and the way that those things made me feel, just don't feel right.
Yeah.
And I just want to, like, shake it off. You
Right.
know, like Taylor
And I
Swift.
think that's really important that
Get
you
the
are
fuck.
able,
You know what I mean?
are
that's
able
it,
to
like-
shake it off.
Yeah.
Because a lot of parents aren't able to shake off their history and their background, and they kind of take it out, not take it out, for lack of better terms, take it out on their kids. Because
It's
that's
not
the-
taking it out. It's just, this is all we know.
Yes.
This is all I know. This is
Yeah.
how my mom parented me, so this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And I think I got lucky for me. I'm not saying lucky for anybody else or that I'm better. I'm saying, for me, there was this time in my life where, you know, I had my first baby, and I had put her in a crib in another room, because that's what everybody does. You know, about the nursery, painted it while I was pregnant. And, you know, the baby's in the other room, and I'm living with my mom at the time. I had moved back from another town and lived in my parents' house, and the baby would cry. I'd get up in the middle of the night, I just had a baby, so I'm like, walking over the room, pick her up, nurse her in that room, get her back to sleep, go back to bed. She cries again, get up. I'm like, this is madness. So, like, one night, I finally just picked her up, came back to my bed, propped myself up, nursed her to sleep, I fell asleep right there, and I did it in my arms like this. And then, like, the next night I did it again. I got some sleep. I felt good. Right?
Yeah.
The next night, put the baby between me and my husband. And put my arm right there in case, like, every time he moved, I was like,
Yeah.
but I slept so good that
Yeah.
night. And the baby slept so good. Like, way longer, less crying. And so one morning, my mom had to come in my room for some reason. What are you doing in my room? But she comes in the room and she goes, oh, what are you doing? Like I was doing something
wrong
weird or
or-
gross, or
yeah.
like she said it like that. What are you doing? I go, what? Like, I'm just waking. What? She goes, get that baby out of the bed. You're gonna kill your baby. She said, you're gonna kill your baby. Seriously, I'm gonna kill my baby. And I thought, what a crazy thing to say, right? And so
Yeah.
she's worried about. And so I was like, oh, maybe I'm gonna kill my baby. Maybe I should look into this.
Mm.
So I looked into it. I started reading books, and I was reading stuff about, like, co-sleeping, and I learned about James McKenna and all the studies that he did at Notre Dame, and that breastfeeding moms are totally in sync with their babies. Like, when you move, they move, and it's totally true. Like, everybody in the bed moves. It's so funny. Like, I roll over, baby rolls over, husband rolls over, I roll over, and we all
It's like
do.
the wave.
It's a dance. Yeah, it's like the wave. I love it. And I was like, oh, and here's another study, and here, oh. And like, what the hell do you think we did when we were cavemen?
Right.
Okay, like Ugg and Mug, this is what my mentor always calls cavemen. Ugg and Mug are living in a cave, and they have a baby, and they're like, oh, brand new baby, let's go make another cave over there, and the baby will sleep over there in that cave, and we'll sleep in this cave.
Gosh.
No, because
Yeah.
what about come and eat the baby?
Exactly.
You keep the baby with you.
Yeah.
And so I started learning all these things, and after a while, you're like, oh, that's common sense. And then I went to my parents with it, and it wasn't common.
Yeah.
Right? Sense,
Which
but it
is,
wasn't
it's
common.
kind of mind-blowing when you think of
And
it.
I presented to them, I said, would you ever have kept me, if we were camping all the time and we lived outside, would you keep me in another tent? No.
No.
Would you have me in the same
Me los
tent?
mande Dios.
Oh my God, right? That's what my dad would have been like, are you, yeah, no, que no.
Yeah.
Then, so why put me in another room?
Yeah.
And then we start, and it's critical thinking, right?
Yeah.
But we don't question things anymore. So I started questioning everything, and that's what changed. So I don't know, I don't even know what we're supposed to be talking about.
I don't either, but I really,
I hope maybe that helped somebody somewhere.
somebody out there that's
You? I'm talking to you.
watching.
We're talking
My
to you.
husband right there watching.
I was talking to the other guy, that
Oh.
one dad who was like, oh, maybe I should question
Maybe.
stuff. Can we just do that?
Yeah, maybe I should just think of respect but thank you so much for talking to me and before
Parenting's
closing,
hard.
it is. It
It
is.
is. It's the hardest thing you're ever gonna do, ever. Ever.
But it's so beautiful when you see your children just,
And they get it.
yes, when it clicks, when that light turns on, when they reciprocate that love to not only you,
Others. Oh, little baby Jack went up to another baby the other day. So he's 2, but there's a baby there who was like 7 months old. And he's just kind of barely like trying, not 7, 17 months old. And he's like walking and sitting, walking and sitting. And Jack goes up to him and he goes,
oh.
and his mother goes, your son is so gentle, right?
Yes,
Right? They model behavior.
Elan, he's 3. Zion is 6 months. I'm breastfeeding her. I'm nursing her, and he will come up and he goes, "I'm Mama's son," and I'm just like, yeah, let down, you know.
But it's working.
Oh yes.
They can only become you.
Oh,
So who do you want them to be? Who do you want to be?
yeah,
Yeah. It's hard.
it is.
Freaking hard.
And to
It's
close-
worth it.
Yes.
Sorry, to
very.
close.
No,
Please.
very worth it. I want to read something I wrote to you. As you see, it's on my whiteboard. I wrote this to you.
To me?
Yes.
Oh, don't make me cry.
No, it's not gonna make you cry.
Okay, don't.
So you're a golden thread in the web of people throughout my life that have helped me blossom into who I am today. For some, it takes years to impact me the way you have in only a few months, accelerated in these last couple of days. You are the Penny Simkin of my generation. I speak for myself, but I'm confident in saying I'm sure there's at least a handful of other individuals who feel the same. You are revolutionizing lives, which in terms of the ripple effect, that means you're revolutionizing our world. You have a purpose and you're living it out. You are a great example of what our divine God sent Jesus here to do. You are a disciple. You are worthy, and thank you for inspiring this fire in me.
I told you not to make me cry. I'm gonna hit her right now. I love you. I love that whole heart. I don't think it's got
Let's go drop you off at sushi.
Let's do that.
Bye.
Bye.